Welcome to Impactful Billionaires, the podcast news show with award-winning Nyasha and myself. So it's actually our sixth, or I think it's actually our seventh news show. And here are some of the top stories as well as our own news. If you'd like to share your stories of impact, please get in touch at impactfulbillionaires@gmail.com. So no further ado, let's kick off with flooding in Somalia, Nyasha.
Yes, it's so typical when we're talking about COP23, about the climate change. So this will, it's going to be really ongoing. People are, around the world are going to get this sort of really unknown flooding, aren't they?
Well,
And
yeah,
so far it's already killed 100 people.
absolutely. Yeah, over 100 people now, with rising waters caused by torrential downpours, and affected more than 2.4 million in the East African nation. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. And so, there's a lot of aid coordination going on with the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. That's a bit of a mouthful, I know, but
Yes.
so they are on the case. But the suspected cases of cholera have always been reported.
I'm surprised.
No, I'm not surprised either.
Mm.
But you're right to draw a parallel with the fact that COP28 is on at the moment.
Yes.
I mean, we really are, struggling with our climate. And, my heart goes out to Somalia.
Oh my God, a lot of people have been affected, haven't they? 820 people need.
820,000, yeah.
That's
Um,
incredible.
it's seems like that they're trying to get it all under control. They've actually deployed 37 boats to deliver supplies. So they're actually trying to find funds as well to get $2.6 billion to 7.6 million of Somalia's most vulnerable people.
Wow.
I know. So it's
Oh,
not good.
yeah.
So I mean, leading
Yes.
on to that, we've
Well, is this the same thing going on in Sudan? Is it?
no, that's to do with cholera is
Mm,
happening in there's an outbreak of cholera in Sudan.
okay.
Yeah. So a UN spokesman actually said on Monday, briefing journalists in New York, Stefan Durak, said
Yeah.
his effort included detection and treatment of cases and addressing water, sanitation, and hygiene issues. So
It's just, what the Sudan needs or doesn't need to, in the war-torn country, to have this outbreak. It just is, it's most unfortunate, really, because there's no systems in place, and oh dear, it's just awful.
well, it's almost like a knock-on effect, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's to do with their water, sanitation, and hygiene issues.
Yes, yes,
Um,
there's been a huge conflict there for years.
yeah. So while they're sort of blowing the place up, so to speak,
Yes, the water. Oh dear.
I know it's not a good situation. It's really not. Again, obviously, it's under the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, with
Yeah,
the
they're gonna
UN.
be very, very busy. Goodness me.
Well, I mean, the thing is that they are, and I mean, obviously, here in European waters, so to speak, we're overtly aware of the war in Ukraine, and also the war in Israel, well, in the Gaza Strip. So, but we don't really sort of get too much news, do we? Sort of,
No, on this, yes, it's in the background, but it's been, the Sudan war has been going on for quite a long time,
yeah.
and the same in Somali. There's been completely anarchy almost, with warlords sort of ruling the country.
Mm.
I'm not sure what kind of government is even in place in Somalia. But again, it hardly gets reported.
No, I think it's very sort of dealt with within the country, isn't it? You know,
Yes,
it's not
yeah.
something that they sort of tend to go on about really. So, which is strange. Some people use it as a propaganda machine, and other people don't. I don't.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
I suppose it depends what the regime is out there, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, definitely.
I mean, you'd know more about it than I have. Have you ever been to Somalia?
No, I've never been to Somalia, and I've never been to Sudan either.
No.
But I know a lot of people who've lived in Sudan, and I would like to go one day.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know when. It's on
Yeah.
my list. The same with Rwanda. It's on my list.
Yeah. That
Yes,
doesn't surprise me
I'm
somehow.
gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyway, at the same time, we've had, key measures could slash predicted 2050 emissions from the cooling sector. That was with the announcement today at COP28 about cooling
Yeah.
sector greenhouse gas emissions predicted to more than double by 2050.
Oh my God.
So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
cutting predicted emissions by 60 to 96%. Well, they're saying this in theory, but are they actually? So yeah, I mean the global cooling watch report, keeping it chill. So they're going to be meeting cooling demands while cutting emissions by the UN Environment Programme. So they're going to be laying out 3 sustainable measures, apparently. So,
Mm,
which is passive cooling, whatever that is, higher
mm.
energy efficiency standards, and a faster phase down of climate warming refrigerants.
Wow. So, I mean, what are they saying that how is the government supposed to create this cooling, whatever, system to make the whole global environment cooler? What can individuals do? Use less energy?
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, there are certain products or certain refrigeration units, by the sounds of things, that shouldn't be used.
Mm.
I mean,
Oh,
but I don't
they
know.
pollute
Yeah,
they just give up gases which are really, really bad.
yeah, yeah, they do definitely. I know a company which I can't remember the name of which company it was now, but this was a few years ago when I was still in TV news. They came up with refrigeration blades.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way of kind of fanning the air, so to speak, and keeping it circulating. With like what you would deem as like wiper blades on a
All right, okay.
yeah. So I mean,
Mhm.
there are systems in place. There are different things that they have already tried. So I suppose it's really sort of cutting down on a lot of different products, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
But
wow. Yeah,
yeah, interesting stuff, I think.
that is interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It seems as if the conference is still going with interesting agendas.
Yes, it is. As I said
Yeah.
earlier, I've been getting a lot of news, because they keep letting out for releasing rather press releases about, the latest updates. The only thing that kind of does sort of strike me and, is that there's a lot of talking that goes on at these events, and it's the following through, isn't it? But it does seem that, as I said, this was the top story of the day today. So it does seem that they probably will be, making every effort to ensure every country is taking part in, cutting the 2050 emissions from the cooling sector, I would say.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's that amazing project, isn't there, that I sent you the other day, in
the solar in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading it the other day. It's just incredible. They're
Yeah.
creating this solar powered is it refrigerators so that people can transport things.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very, very good.
It is. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we need a lot more of that, Nyasha, don't we, really?
It's a lot more like that. Yes.
A lot more where that came from.
Yes, we definitely need it. We definitely need it.
Anyway,
That's fantastic.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear about John's breakthrough. This seems like a breakthrough case.
it is a breakthrough case.
Wow, never happened. He must be. John Richardson. I interviewed him about what was it, about 2 months ago?
Yes, I think it's back in September, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I'd never heard of this issue. I'd heard of it, but I've never heard any lawyer dealing with it. You know what I mean? I know quite a few friends of mine who are American who've been in UK for more than, they were affected by this tax that America will tax you no matter where you are.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so long you were
absolutely.
born in, so long I think they've lived in UK for more than 50 years.
Absolutely. I know. I mean, yeah, I mean, it is actually groundbreaking news as well. So one of our very own impactful billionaires, John
I
Richardson,
know.
is in the US Supreme Court, and it's the most important case. And it's the most important case the US Supreme Court has ever heard. The court stands between the possibility of freedom and a society ruled completely by the Internal Revenue Code. And of course, John and his partner, I think it's Karen, from what I can remember, they're SAYAT. So that's their sort of group that, you know, deals with fighting against this really unjust taxation, even if it is the American government, may we say. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, which is it's expatriation account tax, you know. So in other words, if you live anywhere else in the globe and you were born in America, then you'll get taxed if you've, you know, emigrated to Australia, for example.
Yes. And it doesn't seem to be you know, sort of the, you know, it seems really quite illogical. It's just a blanket taxation and not looking at each case as it stands or whatever. It just sounds really, yeah.
You're absolutely right. It is a blanket. So it's apparently, this is called an amicus brief, forgive me if anyone else is listening. And that they're in partnership with Americans resident overseas, SAYAT. And the case actually concerns, which is quite interesting, Charles and Kathleen Moore, who live in Washington State. And in 2006, they invested in 13% of an Indian corporation, KissenCraft, created to import, manufacture, and distribute affordable farming equipment in India. The Moores never realised earnings from the investment. In 2017, the Moores discovered they owed nearly $15,000 in US income tax based on the unrealised earnings of KissenCraft going back to 2006.
Oh, wow. It's not even realised. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's not even, you know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's just, you know, finding money, just finding money.
Yes.
Wow. You know, so they've never received that money.
Yes, they've never received it. That's just a phantom money. Someone just unbelievable.
It is.
Good for them for taking them to court.
Well, yeah, and it's not just any old court here either.
Yeah, the American Supreme Court. Yeah, just incredible.
Yeah. So
John has helped them do this.
yes, yeah, he has. Yeah, I mean, he's been fighting this for some time now, hasn't he? So, and he continues to do so. But yeah, what an absolutely ridiculous situation. So we'll get to hear the outcome of that.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just because sometimes some of these appeals, you actually fail on that they won't want to hear it, so we never hear about it.
No, I know.
But this is actually going to go, and the decision is going to be made in December before the year is out. And I think that it's going to be, if they win it, I think a lot of people are going to want to test this out and say, no, this happened to us as well. Because there's so many cases, that what John was telling me, that there's quite a lot of cases on this matter.
Oh gosh, yeah, there's absolutely
loads of people.
Yeah, there is absolutely loads.
Yeah, America is gonna go bankrupt, reimbursing people tax that
Well,
people.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you realise, but actually our very own Prime Minister, who was our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, was held accountable for FATCA, Foreign Account Taxation Compliance Act, because he's got dual nationality and he was born in New York.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
so there we are, from prime ministers to ordinary people.
oh yes, it does. There's a there's no discrimination with
with this one.
yeah, no,
Where you were
absolutely.
born.
I know.
Does he have an American mother?
Who?
Oh, no, Boris.
Oh yes, yeah, I think she was, wasn't she?
Yes, I think his mother is American. I didn't know
She
that.
died, didn't she, during COVID?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she did. So, yeah, not the best time for
anybody to die.
poor Boris.
Every child deserves a loving family, and that is why I founded Banya Fostering, an independent provider, in 1996. In the past 24 years, we have grown to become one of the largest agencies in the UK. We thrive to support carers and empower children, providing opportunities for brighter futures. Have you ever thought about supporting a child that needs it most? So far, we've helped more than 7,000 children in our care.
We'll wait to find out how the joint amicus brief has gone. So, because they're several hours behind us as well.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So a judgment might happen today.
Well, I'm not so sure, but
yeah,
but we'll keep you posted on that one. Hopefully next week we might be able to give some more news on that. But yeah,
yes.
So you heard it here first on Impactful Billionaires. You did.
Yes.
That's
right. Meanwhile, Dan, our another Impactful Billionaire, has been presenting his eco cookbook bags to UNICEF. Wow.
Yeah.
Which is, my goodness, he's gone up to the top. They're the people to present this thing. Amazing. Something quite simple, but has a huge impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
And this eco cookbook of masterclass. Oh wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I mean, he's a brilliant man who,
yes,
has really found something that is not just saving the women, behind the cooking. It's also saving the environment as well.
I know.
We should have Ken at COP28, shouldn't we?
Yes, he should have gone to COP28.
Yeah, no, he did talk about it, didn't he? I think.
Oh, about going. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, certainly I spoke to him, and obviously he wanted to let us know that he's very proud to have with them Lesotho celebrity and published chef Scar Motien when he was out there, or I think he's still out there on his way back. So and they are a force for nature, apparently.
Yes, yes.
And the call, was it the call that because you went out there and gave, well, you went to
I gave 2
Tanzania.
bags, one in Dar es Salaam
Yeah.
for a project which is working with women, and another one in Zanzibar. And I gave it to a school. They make school lunches. They spend hours fetching firewood and it's going very well. And the first time it was my water project people. They didn't follow the instructions, so he didn't cook their beans. So now it's working now, and it's just a very simple bag which instead of burning or cooking for hours on end your beans or whatever it is, you just boil it for 30 minutes, you cover it up with the bag, and you can just leave it in there the whole day.
Yeah,
By
because
the time you eat your beans or whatever it is, your stew you're making, it's like a slow cook.
yeah, slow cooker. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's made out of hemp, whatever, the hemp sticks.
Yeah.
They're mashed up into so to make sort of like a stuffing of it. And the hemp keeps a temperature.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well, you can put something cold or frozen, and it can remain frozen. It's only about cooking, and I didn't know that.
So it's like a thermal, almost like a thermal.
Yes, the hemp
Yeah.
cushioning creates a thermal effect, and it's just such an interesting, simple thing. And Kenya has got some fantastic statistics, like 2.5 billion people around the world, Africa and Asia in particular, cook on an open fire.
Yeah.
And the amount of time it takes women in particular, it's always women, fetching the firewood, and how having this cook bag can really transform people's time, because they don't have to fetch as much firewood. They don't have to spend the whole day boiling this stuff, creating smoke. And so they can go and do other activities to produce income, like they're gardening or selling something, because they're not spending half of the time cooking. It's just, just one simple thing like that can really transform people's lives. And it's also captured how many hours the women is being saved by this bag, and what women have told him they've done instead, and how much income they've gained because they're not cooking. I said,
No,
wow.
I think that's brilliant. I really do. As
Yeah.
you said, it's obviously it's not just saving the environment, it's saving them, and it's giving them a quality of life that they've just really not had before. And also because the cooking pots that they were using were causing a lot of health damage as well.
Yes,
The
to their
smoke.
eyes, yes. Yes,
Their
some of the,
chests.
yes, their eyes and their chest. And one of the women, I can't remember, Ken was telling me that you've given me back my eyesight because I don't have to sit in front of smoke
Oh gosh, yeah.
anymore.
Doesn't that make you think, Nyasha?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
aren't we lucky?
yes.
We just go and
And
turn the oven on, and that's it.
and yeah, and I know his ambition is to make these 2.5 billion bags for all these households of people living without cooking on an open fire.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people like Red Cross who want them, but they don't have any money to make more. And it's just, why I'm just wondering, why can't Red Cross make them?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's
In terms of funding, or a corporation to just say, I'll make 1,000 or million of this. So it is really a crazy world. That's something which is quite an easy solution to a big problem is not funded. And it all questions me about what people prioritize. You know, we got really got our our priorities wrong. And someone was telling me, was it today, that you know the Christmas coming up, we're going to spend so many billions pounds just to deal with this Christmas event.
Yeah,
And
I'm with you completely.
we could just ban Christmas and make some of the.
But we could just make cooking pots,
Oh,
couldn't
I'm
we?
trying to find out excuses to ban Christmas in my house.
I'll have one.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
it's just crazy. We just got our priorities so mixed up, really.
We have. Yeah, it's
Mm.
become a really commercial thing, Christmas.
Yeah,
It
yes,
shouldn't be,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
about spending time with loved ones
yes,
in my
yes.
eyes. Um,
And the pressure on families, it's just, I can just see it palpitating, building up.
yeah.
You've got to have that right trainer, the right label, the right phone, the right, you know what I mean? It's just, and
Oh,
with all the cost of living and something, families really struggle to fulfill these children's expectation about the latest gadget
oh no,
they need. And it's just so sad.
it is very sad indeed.
Yeah,
It is,
yes, yeah.
it
We could
should
just,
really,
yeah,
really be more about just spending time. That's what
yes.
I love about Christmas anyway, the fact that you can just spend time with, people that you love and
Mm, yeah.
just take the time, actually take the time.
Just take the time.
Yeah,
Yes.
and just have some
Just
nice
just sit
food
with
and
somebody and have
yeah,
some nice food and have a good laugh.
and watch for the 50th
Sharp.
time Gavin and Stacey's Christmas special.
Yes. Why not? Have a bit of a laugh. Because normally, life just takes over, isn't it? You don't have time to do things like
No,
that normally.
you don't have
So,
time to do things like that. I don't, well, I know you're the same as me. I hardly, very rarely sit down and watch a TV program.
yes, it's too long.
Yeah, it's too long. I've got too much
like
going on.
like if I can't remember the last time I watched a film or
No,
on the television. Was it just too long? I don't have the time.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I did watch a film quite recently, but it's a very rare occasion.
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
think, if yeah, it's crazy.
You could
Anyway,
get
some exciting things going on with Thames Valley, the Great British Expos. Well, if you are in the Thames Valley, the Great British Expos have opened the nominations for the Business and Community Awards.
Oh no, this is fantastic.
I
And
know.
I know a few years ago we got two. We were really greedy. We felt really greedy to have two awards in the same place. I never heard of it. And I know Alex and Cherishes, they've just come back and they won two awards. They were nominated for the silver
And the
and
bronze.
bronze, yes, in
Yeah.
New York,
The
among
Stevie Awards.
among the big corporates like Google and Amazon. They won against such a small social enterprise
I
to win.
know.
It's just unbelievable.
Well, it's
And
fantastic.
yeah, it's just is yes. So if you're listening to this, if you I think you should nominate the best employee or your best community championship. There's still time. Closing date the 31st of December. Well,
Yeah.
I think they will do the awards, isn't it normally in March or something?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
last year I was one of the judges of these awards.
Mm.
It was such a privilege. It was
Oh,
really
yes.
quite difficult to make a choice which one to go for because everyone is worthy of an award. I think
Absolutely.
Alex should have an award for everybody who nominates themselves or not get nominated. Honestly, it was really quite difficult to make a choice
Yeah, I
because
can
people are
imagine.
doing such fantastic work in the community.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
they do. They do, definitely.
Yes.
And talking of work in the Thames Valley community, we've got our very own Varna Trust Christmas Fair.
I know. No, this is really so exciting. We're going to have Santa face painting by our very own Ali. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that. And Sharon is going
I
to be
didn't have
doing
you down,
something.
Ashley, to be a face painter.
Yes, I still can't find my Christmas whatever jumper.
Oh, well,
I
you
might
have to
have to,
find
but I
it.
don't know. I think I've got it for too many years. I think I hope
Yeah.
I haven't put it in. Maybe I've put it in a charity bag. I might have to get one. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's on from 11 to 3 p.m. or this coming Sunday, the 10th of December at Ludgershall Village Hall on the Ox Bucks border.
Mm.
So, there'll also be tours to the farm.
Yeah, with Sharon.
So, you can come and see our farm, which is a beautiful small mixed farm on the border, as I said, and with the chickens and the sheep and the goats.
Mm.
Pigs, and then there'll be there's lots there because obviously we have people, well, for those of you who don't know, with learning disabilities, autism and mental health issues from the age of 14 years old who come up and work on the farm,
Yes,
don't they?
it's fantastic, lovely space
Yeah,
for people to come. They find their little sanctuary and develop and get confidence to go back and contribute in the society. It's a fantastic place.
it's a beautiful farm, it is, Nyasha.
Yes, yes,
So yeah, well chosen there. So
yes.
definitely. And then on the same day, in the evening time is the Electric Eels Christmas party, which is at Dorney Lake. And Electric Eels is a family orientated club specifically for children over 8 and adults with Down syndrome.
Oh,
So it's a swimmers club, really, so that they can strengthen their core and improve
the
technical
coordination
aspects.
kind of thing. Yes, it sounds
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, so that's Dominic Trotman. So Dom has invited me. He's one of our up and coming impactful billionaires.
Yes. So is it at a swimming pool?
No, it's actually no,
Where
it's
is it gonna
actually at
be?
Dorney Lake. So I suppose it's like a training centre, isn't it, Dorney Lake?
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, I haven't been for ages.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it should be fun.
yes.
Um, one of our other impactful billionaires, Tamsin, will be there as well. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
be fun. So and then we seem to be across the Thames Valley with news
There's
this
lovely
week.
things going on. Yes.
Yeah, so Connect Reading, our very own Lorraine Briffett, who is also an up and coming impactful billionaire. She is the CEO of Connect Reading, the local charity that brings the giving tree to Greater Reading each year. So this Christmas, they're working with 17 local charities and the Royal Berkshire Hospital to provide over 1,200 gifts to local people in need.
Wow.
Yeah, they do it every year.
All right. Are they connected to what Caroline Billington did? Is it the same kind? No,
No.
no.
Community Christmas
It's
was all
about isolation.
isolation and the elderly. This
Mm.
is specifically really in the Reading area, Connect Reading.
Mhm.
And they do the giving tree. So you get a load of tags if you say, I did it with Savills last year.
Okay.
And basically everybody chooses a tag and it's got a child on it and a toy that they would like. It's on their wish list.
All right.
So you do that. So they do it in several locations across Reading,
Mm.
Connect Reading. And then apparently this year, any donations before the 15th of December, you need to include your email address and they are automatically entered into their giveaway. So that's Connect
Oh,
Reading / the Giving Tree. And then you could win a one-night stay in a premier suite Reading apartment plus a bottle of prosecco on your arrival. I think I'll have to donate now, Asha.
that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, goodness, and we've nearly come to the end of the show. But obviously we can't leave this out because we're really looking forward to 2024, because we're going to have our very first inaugural International Women's Day event.
Yes.
For Billionaires.
Yes, and we got the help of Alex and his British exposure, because he's an expert on doing this. Wonderful. He's done International Women's Day, and of getting really interesting people together. So we're really, really grateful for his help.
We are very grateful for his help, and we should have about 100 to 150 female entrepreneurs in the house. So we'll be having workshops and helping with personal branding and development and social media workshops. And we're going to have some headshots and profile headshots done as well, aren't we? And a nice 3-course buffet lunch. I have to say, I really do like it at Highfield Park. The view is amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's really nice. It's in the park, isn't it?
Yes.
It's surrounded by green. Yes, I've been there. That's where we did our judging.
Ah,
yeah.
Right.
yes.
Well, there you go. So, so yes, that brings us to the end of the news show. So it's a goodbye from me.
Yeah, definitely goodbye from me. And really such a pleasure. I love this news show. I really quite like it because I also get to know a bit more what's going on. So yes. And as usual, we're always looking to hear your stories.
We are definitely. And so, you know, if you'd like to send us your stories, you should send them through on impactfulbillionaires@gmail.com. So coming up, Nyasha chats to our very own inspirational John Gower, who is the founder of the Omni local networking group, who sets out to make an impact in other people's lives.
Hello and welcome. My next guest is John Gower. He's the founder and director of networking organization, Omni Local Business Networking. John founded his networking forum over 7 years ago, and he's created a full program of networking training and speed networking sessions to help impact small businesses. He shares why it is important to empower the people around you.
You're listening to Impactful Billionaires, the podcast with the UK's top award-winning social entrepreneur, Nyasha Kwatditsa. Why not be part of the club transforming lives and join us on Patreon? If you would like to get in touch, email impactfulbillionaires@gmail.com. This is a For the Now media production.
So I did something similar to this last week, I think Thursday or something. And I got all worked up, and I got brushed my hair, I put my background, make sure, set up my little home studio.
Some of this will come up in the sort of the leading to it when we're advertising, telling people about you. Some of these pictures will come up.
Okay, but, it's just so this interview I did last week, I set the home studio up, got all the lighting and everything else. And he said, no, it's for a radio show. And I usually say I'm perfect because I've got a face for radio.
That's just perfect. That's just perfect. Anyway, where are you based?
I actually live in Aldershot, but my business is spread across the southeast of England. So before the pandemic, I would say that we were probably a massive footprint from Essex all the way through to almost Swindon, but up to Milton Keynes and all of that. And we were looking at getting Scotland off the ground, but it just didn't work out. The pandemic, everything changed for everybody. I think.
Yeah. So I always start really about what are you doing at the moment and what are you focusing on?
So I used to run a company called Omni Local Business Networking. And it was all about getting as many people as we possibly could into the room And back then, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, there wasn't really much competition in the networking space. So, networking exists, so it's really business networking. But since the pandemic's changed, what we've done is we've switched our concentration and efforts into business development rather than business networking, because networking happens anyway. But if we network and focus on business and growing our businesses and helping each other out as much as possible, then everybody wins.
Wow.
So we're now called the Omni Business Development Network. So.
All right. So do you go in as consultants, as business consultants, to help people develop their business?
No. I facilitate the business. We have several people in the teams that run each meeting that we run. So we run about, I would say, about 30 events a month.
My God, that's one a day.
Well, it averages out one a day, but we meet every fortnight. But before the pandemic, I was running around about 130 meetings a month.
My goodness, that's a huge.
Yeah, and we had on average about 20 to 30 people in every single meeting. So it was quite an established, busy business. But with 50 groups and that sort of volume, it was manic. So I've stripped everything out, and we now have around 15 groups looking to grow. Certainly put the foundations in before Christmas, and then grow rapidly in January.
Oh, right, you're gonna really start it. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's especially post COVID, there's a lot of need for support, isn't it, for people?
Yeah, I mean,
have been really affected by COVID.
Yeah, I know. I've been quite open and honest with people that have asked me. I've struggled personally on my own personal mental health and other issues, and it's all down to the business not getting out there. And since I've done that, other people have come to me and said, "I'm actually glad you've spoken out, because I've had that issue too." They obviously don't broadcasting, but I'm talking grown men, admitting that they've had issues, as well as some of the ladies have said, I've had this issue, but the networking has been a godsend, especially some stuff over Zoom. There are still some people that are hesitant, but I often get the comment, and I'm not trying to brag on this, but I do get on an almost weekly basis people saying if it wasn't for Omni, they wouldn't have a business.
Wow.
And that's a big pride thing for me, because that's
a huge impact on making people
on a personal level. It's just amazing that I get that.
Yeah. Oh, that's really, really fantastic. To people. Oh yeah, a lot of people. Some business, it's a global problem, have not come back.
Yeah.
They've shut shop.
Yeah, but I am starting to see a little bit more investment in terms of people putting more time on their business now, rather than being in their business. Because I'd be lost if I didn't have a business. I've got to be honest with you. And it's been I've struggled financially, all sorts of things, dipped into personal savings and credit cards and that whole world of money. But I have to carry on. I've got responsibility for so many other people that I feel personally, that I need to help as many people as I can. And one of the phrases that everybody knows me for is, I hate the expression when someone says, "Oh, it's only business, it's not personal." I really don't like that, because the next thing that's coming is something you're not going to like. But I always say business is personal.
It is,
because
it's got your footprint all over it.
Well, yeah, and it's like it's your personality, it's your business. If your business doesn't do well, you can't pay your mortgage, the cost of the crisis and all that, you struggle. So you can't say it's not personal, because it really is.
God, if you didn't put your personality in there won't be no business.
Absolutely.
And also, these people always talking about, myself, I struggle with it. This work-life balance. And I've always said my business is my life. So how do I balance it?
Well, you need to go and get an office, or go into
I think if you got if you're an employee, then you can have that work-life balance, not taking work home.
Yeah.
But if you're a business owner and a founder, really, it's 24/7.
It is. And
in your mind, even if you're not on holiday.
I draw a line on the holiday part. I do try and get away as much as I can, and I tend to do things on Sundays, but I'm often tapping away at the keyboard or answering something on
Yeah,
LinkedIn,
somebody's
or
call, yeah.
yeah, you know, and you know, but that's what you're buying into. If you think that you can set up a business and run it for 20 hours a week, you're not in the right place. If not, tell me what you're doing, because I'll do it as well.
Yes, we like the trick. I remember a long time ago, someone phoned me up and said, "Oh, I'm really stressed with my job." They had a day job and they want to set up a business, really set up a business. And I said, I think it's better for you to stay at your job, because starting a business, it's huge. It's all, never mind running it. And she went away and she thought about it. So, God, I never thought about it.
People don't.
It's a huge responsibility.
No, they don't understand. Some people leave corporate companies and they realize all of a sudden they haven't got a HR department, they haven't got a printer, they can't call on anybody to do anything. They've got to do it themselves, and that's what you're buying into.
You've got to do the whole thing yourself, especially at the beginning when you don't have money to employ somebody. You've got to do it all.
Absolutely. I mean, if I was speaking to that girl, I would say start something small, you know, a couple of hours a week, and see how you find. Because if you invest all of your resources, income, you know, wages, the whole lot, into something that doesn't work, it's heartbreaking. You know, I would always suggest doing something just a little bit on the side.
On the side hustle.
But if this business fails, I'm going to become a global speaker at corporate level and telling people to stop leaving corporate companies, because they've got no idea how hard it is when you go out and run your own business.
That'd be fantastic. Crusade campaign. I'll join you on that campaign.
Yeah, you work 29 hours.
People have
hours a day, 11 days a week.
It's so sad, really, but we're not trying to put them off, but they really don't have an idea. They really need a lot of support. And that's why nowadays it's good. They've coaches, they've mentors. So you've got that level of support. So, I mean, going back to your childhood and your background, why do you think you do what you do today? Did you have an aha moment? What happened?
No. My mum and dad, my dad was in the army, so we traveled around quite a lot, and that divorce broke apart. And we were living in a very, very rough council estate in Coventry. And I just decided that at a very young age that I don't want to live here anymore. The only way I'm going to get out of it is because I've got, beyond my mother's family, we've got nothing, no inheritance coming our way. It was, you know, we were like proper down and out in a council house. And, you know, we had broken windows in the bedrooms for 3 or 4 months because we couldn't afford to get them fixed. So
the council were always coming. You were on a waiting list to come and repair it.
Absolutely. And so I decided I didn't want to be poor anymore, and the only way I could do it is go out and work. And at the age of 14, I had my first business.
14?
Well, I say a business. It was more, it was an opportunity. It wasn't really a business. You know, people say about a business, you know, you're not, you're just self-employed. You don't run a business, you're self-employed. And there's a big difference between self-employed and running and owning a business. Although the differences can be blurred, the lines between being self-employed and running a business can be blurred. Really, I was self-employed, I learned a very valuable lesson for that first business, because me and my friend would go around our council estate and find out all the burnt out mopeds, marry all the pieces up, so that we could have at the end result either 1 or 2 working mopeds, and we would then sell them on. Which taught us to be resourceful, always on the lookout, you know, put our hands to things that we didn't know. We wouldn't know how to fix a motorbike engine, but we made it up as we went along, right? Until we got a knock on the door by the police.
Yes.
Because we were completely oblivious that these bikes might be stolen.
The actual might have been stolen in the first place. Okay.
So but the police were quite reasonable about it all. You know, they said they could see the entrepreneurial thing in us, but they said that it's naughty because they're stolen. And it could have got a lot of other people in trouble because they were buying stolen goods from us. So do you see what I mean? So it could have got a lot of people in a lot of trouble. But
it could have got so young, out of hand.
We were so young, and I was quite cheeky. They kind of let us off, but you know. So then I went around cleaning windows and cars, just to get going. And you know, from there I had several businesses, and been involved in a lot of other different things as well. But that was my first thing. So the lesson I learned from that was make sure what we're doing is correct, legal, and you know, just do a bit of due diligence on what you're trying to achieve.
Into trouble, yeah.
But we thought, because there were so many burnt out bikes, we had unlimited supply of these materials that we could have done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also recycling for the environment. How good for you.
Well, that was back in the 80s. So that was
you were doing recycling.
Well, I didn't even know that, no. But that's, you know, it was like, well, they're sitting on the side of the road making a mess in our council estate. Why don't we go put them together and fix them up?
Put them together and make stuff. Yes. Oh, that is really quite an interesting story. And
But
then,
that was a long time ago.
You've never looked back.
Well, I have, but you know, going through this, I mean, you know, you speak to people, and you know, I've like I said, struggled because I don't have any family. I've not spoken to my mum since I was about 14, 15. My father the same. So looking back, I was always going to be on my own. I was always going to be doing something. And I've just picked up lessons as I've gone along. But there is when someone say, I actually spoke to someone that's a bit of a mindset coach. One of the things that came out as a result of our conversation was, are you trying to run away? You know, are you setting up business out of fear and running away from your circumstances instead of embracing that?
Yeah,
it's a different mindset. And I thought at the time, I didn't really take a lot of that sort of thing on board. But as you get older, you do. You know, you reflect on what people say.
On things,
yeah. So yes, it was. You know, I always say it was born out of anger, and now driven on responsibility of others. And that's where I'm at today, and I accept that. You know, that's something I've come to live with in my mind.
But you talk about entrepreneurs that you got to have that anger and that fear, and you know that hunger that there's not going back.
No, and I recently lost my way.
When you walk away from your job, for example, when you're starting at 14, 15, there was no going back. You were quite clear that you did not want to be living in this cancer estate. So there wasn't, you know, some people have got the backup. For you, it was fear, anger, and hunger.
Yeah, and that was quite true up until the pandemic, and that all kind of changed. I was somebody that would feel more than comfortable going into a room and kicking all the chairs and tables over and saying, right, I'm here. I lost my way on that. And I'm grateful that I had a business that could sustain the fact that I wasn't 100% and still survive. And that's that's something that I will be putting together on some kind of educational slot and speak about going through, is making sure that you've got the fundamental things in your business and have the right people to support you around you. You know, and there's no shame in saying I can't do this alone. There's no shame at all, because you'll be surprised how many people say, me too.
Yes.
Why don't we get together and help each other? You know, and that's fundamentally what I do with my networking business. It's all and everything for me.